Hello. How are you? We are here. We are queer. And something else that rhymes with those two words. Paz, what rhymes with those two words? Come on, poet. Come on, non-rhyming poet. Give me a rhyme.
I'm not a rhyming poet. Near, spear.
Nope, I completely lost track of that. We are really tired today, so yeah. Good luck us.
Feel good.
We'll be fine.
Looking forward to the rest of this game. Especially with us forgetting Mother's Day, there is an element of, and having to postpone, there is an element of, I just want to get it over with. Move on to the next game. I've been thinking about the next game. I'm really excited about it. There is going to be a next game. Huh?
Can I say what the next game's going to be?
No, I don't know if it is going to be that game or not.
Okay.
The one that we discussed. I don't know yet. And Paz has never even heard of it. I never mentioned it to Paz, so.
Yeah.
However, the game I have been considering does require more people, and I already have one person rearing to go to join us. I need another person, so I'm going to be looking around for that. Hopefully get needs to be wacky and interesting. Stuff and things. I took this week off, so I've been not focusing on anything of any import all week, and it's been nice. Been really nice. Oh, you'll notice the overlay is totally different now. Well, not totally different, very different. Because I finally figured out how to add captions, and of course they're not working. Excuse me.
Oh, no.
Because I have minimized the window because I'm an idiot. It's working now.
Yay, we did it.
We'll take credit for that.
Morgan.
Okay, so now we have proper captions for all three of us. I'm really pleased about it. Let's just go around and introduce ourselves really quick for anybody who's new. Rick, who are you? What are you?
Hi, I'm Rick. I'm coming straight at you from my lockdown hair. My pronouns are he, him. And yeah, I'm excited to play the Quiet Year. It's quiet.
You're beautiful. You shut up. You can catch Rick on Twitter at GrizzlyEye. Yep. Paz.
Oh yeah, I publish nonsense on the DMs Guild and other. So come follow me if you want role-playing game nonsense.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yay. Okay. Paz, who are you? What are you?
Hi. I'm a Paz. I'm a Pascal. My pronouns are also he, him, and I'm really tired. But I'm good, and I am a poet, and you can find me on Twitter, posting about just the worst. You don't want to follow me on Twitter, but if you really hate yourself, I guess you could follow me on Twitter at Pascal the Poet. So go follow me there. Good. Morgan.
Paz posts the most adorable, wonderful things, like having to do with moss and mushrooms and something called Junkrat that I 100% don't understand.
Yeah, I post a lot about my favourite boys in my favourite ridiculous fictional children.
Okay.
Junkrat from Overwatch, who is my husband and my son. So
I thought it was a character from a game like Overwatch.
It is. Something called a Junkrat, and I'm like, yeah, that's it. Something called a Junkrat.
I haven't, to be honest, I haven't paid attention to Overwatch in so long, and they add characters all the time, so...
You do, yeah, you don't worry about it. I only pay attention to like 2 of them, so
but it took me a long time to get from the context that you were talking about a video game character.
What I post on Twitter.
See, now you have to follow Paz on Twitter.
It's just about fan fiction I write about terrible, awful, dirty, rowdy boys, apparently. And
apparently.
People have no idea. Yes.
Rowdy boys.
It's dirty, rowdy boys are my boys. It's like, I just like
great.
writing about them. Dirty, rowdy boys. Anyway.
Paz, I have to confess to you. When I first met you, you didn't ask me to call you Paz. It was only recently when we sort of got back in contact. I think there was like at least a year gap between us, like chatting each other up. Because so now that you've asked, you know, you've got that whole, you know, friends can call me Paz thing going on. My friends call me Paz.
I'm just lazy and I can't be fucked with the rest of the syllables.
Well, my confession is that the name Paz reminds me of an American children's candy, and so every time I say it, that's what I think of. And you might actually really like this. Yes, I'm talking about Pez. In my brain, because I'm an 80s child, a Pez always has a Hello Kitty head on it.
Nice. I love it.
They had all kinds of heads, didn't they? They had the 3
yeah. But it was something about the era, or maybe some fixation I had when I was a kid. It always has a Hello Kitty head on it. And so, like, I basically, in my mind, there is like an overlapping of you and Hello Kitty.
That's fantastic. I don't mind that at all. Though I'm more of a. I have very little engagement with Hello Kitty in real life, but you know what?
Yeah.
I'm here for it. I'm all right for it. I'm down.
Good.
Absolutely fine with being associated with Hello Kitty. I have one friend who actually can't pronounce Pascal very well, so they call me Pasta, which is fine by me.
Oh, I love it. That's nice. That's very good.
Yeah, and I have a few friends that just call me Bird, which is my other nickname, which is
right.
not, you know, I'm fine, you know, it's very weird, just being
as
like...
As long as you know the person who's calling you that, right?
Yes. Yeah, some words out of context, just impolite, but other than that, yeah, it's very...
We've got some people on... Oh, sorry. We've got some people on chat.
No, I see, yeah.
About Pez.
Yay!
I get it. Hi Tal, how are you? I hope you're all right. And thanks for the follow. Just another guy named Harry. Wow, that's a mouthful. Good one. Love it. That's like that's competition level mouthful going on there.
Are you actually called Harry, or is that just a reference to something?
Yeah, that's
what
I want to know.
Tell
us. What's your name? What are your pronouns? What are your pronouns?
Where are you broadcasting from? Tell me.
Pin number. Okay.
Yeah,
we're gonna
Tal,
do a
I'm
recap
sorry.
of what's
I don't have any. I don't have any hydrate watcher engagements, so you can't force me to drink. Ha 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 ha. Yes, and y'all know me. I'm Morgan, aka Tempest, and my pronouns are they, them. And this is my channel, Tempest Games, where I do world building and ttrpg and board game design, and now stuff like this, actual plays of indie games. Yay! If you're here, you kind of already know how to find me. I'm also on Twitter with the same name. Yeah, right. Somebody do me a recap.
Right. Do you want to do the recap, or shall I do the recap, or do you want to do one half the recap and I do the other?
Let's do half, because it's pretty chaotic anyway. So
right.
Whatever one of us, we'll get through it all if we got.
Yes,
yeah.
we will get through it all. All right, I will start. Back in the beginning of autumn, we were dealing with. We had an exile. We had an outcast who came to us, and we did an expedition. When we did that expedition, we went out. They brought back a stranger, and that stranger turned out to be a tentacle alien. Because of course, thank you, Rick. And in the meantime, because of a problem of corruption that was spreading from our technology, from where we lived in our crashed spaceship, we had to deal with tentacle people coming back, rising up against us, and fencing us all into our own home. So we had to negotiate with them, which didn't work out successfully at first, until we managed to befriend a big friendly AI to stop the corruption, which stopped all of the higher logic and higher brain function within the area from which the corruption resided, which meant we all had to get out of where we were living. But it did solve the problem of the corruption, which was wonderful. Rick, do you want to take over from now?
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. So, all the bad stuff, by the way, is me. Whenever something really bad happens, it's generally me sticking a spanner in the works. So yes, I introduced a tidal wave heading towards this because, I'm that guy. Yes, we're hurriedly building a tidal wave barrier to stop that from happening. There's also a lot of factions. We have some factions. So there's there's crew and passengers in our ship. The crew formed the council, who are the hierarchy of the old crew and are a bit of a bunch of dicks. And then there's the moss farmers, because if there's moss that can be farmed, candy moss I believe it's called. There's the engineers, and then the quite hapless scientists who don't really seem to be sidelined most of the time, even though they do everything. So and the rebels. So we had some rebels split off who made their own little community. So the council decided to starve them of water, because we now have a water refinery to purify water. So we control the water, and we're using it to blackmail, which is again another idea that I had.
Yep.
So, I think that's pretty much it.
This is what Rick does to you.
No, we're just dealing with. Yeah, he's just been throwing things at us left, right, and centre, whilst we've just been trying to. All me and Morgan have been trying to do is peacefully collect contempt tokens and passively aggressive start projects at each other. And Rick's just been here throwing in a plot or whatever. A pain in the arse is what it's been. Thinking and dealing with problems instead of just passive aggressively solving them for each other.
There is a theme. Paz is very much the person who's like, oh, this is pretty or cool or neat. Moss, yay, moss. Everything's about moss. What other neat, pretty, cool things I can add to this game? And I'm sitting here going, someone has to react to stuff that's actually happening already. I'm the one like reacting to like horrible situations that you guys started. And then Rick's like, more horrible situations.
What we have here is obviously a creator, destroyer, and maintainer dynamic.
Yes.
We're just going through traditional folklore right now,
Yep.
Creator, destroyer, and maintainer.
We're just a stereotype. That's all we are. We're just a stereotype.
Which one am I?
You're definitely
I know,
the
I'm-
destroyer.
Oh,
I
yeah.
Get
Oh yeah.
out, Rick.
Rick the Destroyer. That's
Rick the destroyer.
that's your new name, Rick the Destroyer.
That was my
Okay.
nickname at school, coincidentally.
We should play this game. What do you
You
think?
should play this game.
I think that, yes.
You guys
yes.
fancy it? Yeah.
All right,
let's do
whose
it.
turn is it? Paz.
Excuse me. It's Rick, and it was. Then it was me. Hang on, one moment. Me. Rick. I think it's
Yeah, I
your
think
go.
Morgan.
Mine. Okay. Okie dokie. I'm just realizing that the tokens were kind of all over the place. All right. Okay, so that means that I have drawn the Ace of Clubs, correct? Because our
Believe so,
last
yeah.
card was the 9 of Clubs, and we've done 5 in clubs so far. Okay. Do not minimize
yeah.
the window, Morgan, you moron. Okay.
Oh.
It's such a habit, you know? You do normal stuff on your computer, you always minimize the one you're not looking at, but when you're window capturing and you minimize the window, it stops capturing the window, and yeah, I was having a lot of trouble with that earlier. Okay. Right. Ace of Clubs, right. The community becomes obsessed with a single project. Which one? Why? Choose one. They decide to take more time to ensure that it is perfect. Add 3 weeks to the project date. They drop everything else to work on it. All other projects fail. We only have one project going.
Yeah.
And is that the water treatment one? Oh no,
It is, I believe so.
Actually, is that the
Most important
tidal
one.
wall?
It's a tidal wall.
Yeah, that's what it is. Okay.
And the tidal wave coming like shortly after that.
Okay, no.
Yes, I think it's a tidal
I'm
wave.
gonna pick the one where they drop everything else to do it, because we don't have any other projects going anyway. So right, they drop everything else to work on this, which makes sense narratively because reasons. And then it says, if there are no projects underway, add a scarcity board of idleness. Right, we don't have that problem at all. Okay, so yes, that was unexciting, and now it's Oh, we do need to take this down by 1, though. There we go. Okay. And, what is it? Discovery, discussion, or project? Let's see. I'm gonna start a project. One of the engineers, because those are the people I vibe with here, one of the engineers sneaks off to go negotiate with our rebel/exile group. And actually, I think I'm gonna bump it up to 2 just for conflict's sake. There we go. All right. Rick, your card is the 10 of clubs.
My favorite one. Okay. So harvest is here in plentiful. Add an abundance. Cold autumn winds drive out your enemies. Remove a threatening force from the map in the area. Well, I know which one I should do. Being the contrarian, I'm going to add an abundance. It starts raining again. Yay!
Yay!
Water. But we've still got the tentacle men, so... Oh. I can't type anything.
Uh-oh. Why not?
Well,
You've
it
done
changes-
something.
I don't know. Oh, right. Sorry. Can you type? I need to use this in Chrome.
Yeah. Oh, you silly person.
I am. A silly
What do you?
person.
What? I'm
I don't
adding
know why
water
you put
back.
up with me.
Okay, hang on a second. That one. Yeah. There we go. So they match because they need to match. Right. Okay. So our projects go down another week. And then discussion, discover your project.
Oh, right. Sorry. Discovery. Project. Oh, this is a toughie. I don't know what to do. I feel like we should have like a project, but I don't know what kind of project. Oh, okay. Yeah, I know what kind of project. So, yeah, the council they've already started to be a bit secretive, so they've started a new project, which is to look for as much technology that's still working as they can in the local area, but they won't say why. It's very mysterious. And I'm going to put that as a 4. Oh, no, don't do that.
Can't wait for the incoming drama that's going to hit us like a meteor.
I'm going to add some more. I don't know what you mean. Debris here.
All right, I didn't do a drawing. I didn't do an art. Why didn't you guys tell me?
I forgot.
I forgot the whole point of this game was to do art. Okay, here I am. It's so nice that I always have my graphics tablet plugged in. Okay, do an art.
I need to rearrange my windows.
Do an art. All right.
May I ask what your... I completely forgot. What's the project you're drawing up there, Morgan?
One of the engineers has snuck away to negotiate with the exiles.
Oh, nice. Cool. Okay.
Yep. And of course I'm not drawing for some reason. Oh, everything is broken. Right. So Rick, you did an art, and then it's Paz's turn, and Paz, your card is the 7 of clubs. Now I minimized it. Gosh darn it.
Gosh darn it! Gosh darn!
Gersh darn!
Gosh.
Sorry.
We have a project just isn't working out as expected. Radically change the nature of this project. Don't modify the project die. When it resolves, you'll be responsible for telling the community how it went. Or add something goes foul and supplies are ruined. Ooh, both of these sound like very much like Rick prompts, but probably the project doesn't turn out as expected. What do we have? We have the tidal wall. I kind of don't want to. Yeah, we have the tidal wall negotiating with the exiles, and we have gathering esoteric means. I don't want to steal Rick's thunder from whatever nightmare he's going to put on us later. So I guess I'm messing with this tidal wall. Oh, sorry, lads. I'm just gonna mess around with this tidal wall. It's radically changed the nature of the project. Maybe we realise that it's not going to be a tidal wall after all. Maybe it's going to be some sort of other architectural means.
Ooh, interesting.
That's interesting, yeah.
Or creative juices aren't flowing as much as they very well could be on this sleepy Sunday afternoon. But how about because the water from because the rain has come back, right? The rain has come back. Everything has started. Everything started. Filling up. The water is filling up again. The water is rising already. So, which has really basically damaged the walls that we have already built. We were expecting it to be dry with the concrete we were using to build this wall. So we've had to change, perhaps instead of a tidal wall, we're saying we can't complete this tidal wall because of the concrete not being able to dry, because of the rain is hindering being able to build this. We're definitely not going to be finishing it on time. So instead, we're going to be reinforcing, or putting our taking our living spaces to higher grounds and trying to protect our living spaces instead. Is that a fair assumption? Is that okay?
I think so.
Sounds right to me.
Yeah. I will put this near our houses instead. So we're going to be basically trying to put our houses on stilts and trying to reinforce our houses long terms against this horrible tidal wave that is going to be coming and any future tidal waves that happen in the future. And then I'm going to be discovery project or discussion.
We need to lower. We need to do all with our projects first.
My apologies. We don't lower the one for the buildings. So, how does the negotiating with the exiles go?
So it actually goes well. Only they sort of realize they acknowledge that it has to continue to be clandestine, really. And so they have created essentially a pipeline of supplies for food back and forth between our our settlement and the exile settlement. But a sort of black market one. Yeah.
That's exciting. I like black markets.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, you do.
It's
got the word black in it. Rick likes it.
Love it. Love it.
Okay.
I'm just like a stroppy emo teenager.
Yeah. Somebody gave a D&D book, and now we're all screwed.
Yay! Right, so I'm going to be starting a project. No, with a discussion. And I think that discussion is going to be. So we have a shelter. Do you remember the spider aliens? We have spider aliens and we have tentacle aliens, but specifically we're talking about spider aliens, spider villagers.
The phrasing is I think the phrasing is spider villagers and tentacle people. If we want to stay,
I got the terminology right there.
Yeah.
So to the east we have the spider villagers. I think maybe the discussion I want to hold is, do we try and rally the spider villagers to our side to help build more emergency shelters?
Okay. Right, this is talking about their bunkers, isn't it? I think we're already focused on this tidal wall, and the project seems to be going well. So, situation, like, I think we've already got our own thing in control, handled well. Rick?
I don't know. This is a tricky one. I say the scientists get their aura in on this, and they're like, well, actually, we think there should be a unity of species because they're scientists. I think we should bring them into the fold and be like lovey-dovey.
Like a nerd.
Why did I say that? That's the worst phrase ever.
Oh, Rick, just gross and disgusting. What is wrong with you?
I don't know. There's no diagnosis for what I've got.
Okay, so follow up. Paz.
So, I think the engineers whom I am representing probably would say it would be wise to pool our resources with the spider people so that we could all make shelters together. Perhaps that would be wise. That might well be wise. Yes. No decision made so far. So it is now Rick's turn, I believe.
I think it's more.
It's my turn now. Yep. Okay.
Excuse me.
Oh,
Right.
can I add one thing to the discussion that we had before? The council don't say anything again.
You can't add anything else to the conversation, Rick. The conversation is over.
They won. They won.
Who's gonna stop me?
They already haven't said anything. No.
Who's going to stop me? I'm Power Man. There's nothing you can do. Call the Quiet Year police. They're going to get me arrested. I know.
Oh, jeez.
They're coming for you.
Not again. Oh. You'll never take me alive.
To be fair, the Quiet Year police would probably arrest us all for making so many jokes and not enough contempt tokens. Actually, speaking of which,
We are the
speaking of
worst.
contempt tokens, I actually, the engineers are going to take one because you two are being so fussy about not negotiating with the spider villagers. So I'm just going to take one of those there. Okay, cool.
Sure, whatever.
I just want to point out as well, I saw on the capture that I translated one of them with something we said to Hitler. I'm definitely
That's
Hitler.
excellent.
So,
That's always what I want to hear.
Perfect. Just what we need.
Sorry,
okay, my love?
I had to mute myself. I thought you didn't want to hear me clearing my throat. All right.
Okay.
Okay. Did I 6 of clubs? That's what I got. And 6 of clubs is introduce a dark mystery among the members of the community, or conflict flares up among community members, and as a result, a project fails. Yeah.
Those are good options.
Yeah, those also seem like very Rick options. Bless you. Good one. You have an adorable sneeze. You're one of those adorable sneezers, aren't you?
Oh no, you haven't heard a true sneeze of mine. I absolutely promise I go feral if I have dust on my nose. I'm very sorry. The ADHD is strong with me today. Could I ask what card you just pulled there?
6 of clubs.
6. Cool.
Okay. Oh, what do we want to do? A mystery or a failure? Mystery or a failure? Yeah, okay. So, Rick's little project over here totally bombs. Sorry. Sorry, not sorry. Yeah, no, everybody just starts fighting, and then the worst happens, and it just, yeah. I just can't move forward. Sorry. Not sorry. All right. We're down one more week for our for the one by the shelters. What's the one by the shelters? That's the title wall one that you adjusted, isn't it, Paz?
Yes, that is
Yeah.
now the
Okay.
reinforcing our shelters. Yeah.
Oh, right. Okay.
Oh, no, it
So
fails.
wow, I totally missed that. I'm being really not with it as well. So we ditched the title wall to work on shelters. Okay.
It's reinforcing our own shelters.
Okay,
basically.
I
We're
needed to have
hastily
taken
trying to unfuck
a
things.
conflict token for that. Okay.
Oh no.
Yeah, I'm taking a conflict token as well because you ruined the terrible thing I had planned.
Because
so
the scientists are really mad about it because the title wall would have protected people other than ourselves, but a shelter project only protects us.
Ooh, good point.
Yeah, get mad at the rain, you guys, not at me. Or the engineers, probably. The engineers are just like trying to get on with their jobs, but
all worried about being efficient.
yeah. It's just the tentacle people and the exiles who we don't care about.
Despite this one rogue engineer over here.
Despite the fact we knew this game was a little bit colonial.
Colonial? Keep trying. Do you want to mute yourself for a minute and practice?
Colonialist. Even though we knew this game was colonialist, that's not the word. We've gone straight into being as colonial as we possibly can.
Yeah, how did it turn this way? This was Paz's fault. Paz did that.
No, it was me too. I've been going power hungry, power mad.
Hey Paz, is the lid of your laptop like sliding backwards because your head is going like lower and lower down on the screen? Soon it's just going to be your eyeballs.
No, it's just because I'm sinking down into my bed. That's what's happening.
I get that.
Getting real comfortable.
I'm
is
jealous.
What's happening, guys?
God, I wish I could stream from my bed.
Get yourself a bamboo tray. It's actually the best thing I've ever gotten hold of. It allows me to write way more fan fiction far more efficiently.
I have one of those for the sofa, and for my laptop on the sofa, I have one of those art boards, those really big MDF with the clip on it that I use to put my laptop and my mouse on.
Nice.
Multifunction, because then I also get my art stuff out and I do art things. Because I'm like that. They're all shitty art things, but I do them.
Oh yeah, same.
I'm sure that's not true. I'm sure.
Oh, don't be like that, Rick.
Compared to you guys, I'm very uncreative.
The fan fiction is bad. I do know the fan fiction is bad. I've accepted this about myself.
I also think, Rick, that you an utter blatant liar, and you should know it. Not creative, and yet somehow you've managed to design a whole game and written a whole bunch of crap and stuff that's actually out there in the world for people to see, which none of my stuff is anymore. Anything that actually did go out is like, that was a long time ago. It's all gone. Nobody knows about it anymore. It's just me.
Well, I did it like a boring science degree. Like you're all like cool art students. I bet you were like
broke art students.
Creative writing is not cool. not cool kids, don't do creative writing. And I also did religion, which is somehow even worse.
Ooh, yeah, no, that's not good.
I did maths with
oh my
computer
God.
science.
No, see,
That's a real nerd's game.
I did
but-
drama and creative writing, so that was always going to be a mix of, not between the two subjects, but within the two subjects, it's always a mix of really cool people and like really not cool people. It's an odd thing seeing them mixed together.
I still
Because
remember
everyone
my
was calling my
freshers
maths
year at uni.
Yeah.
Sorry, I still remember freshers year at uni, and you could just see the drama students on site. You could just recognise them on nights out.
Yeah.
They were everywhere. They were volunteering for everything. Like when we had a hypnotist come in for each freshers week, and every year you could just see all year, every time, everyone on that stage was a drama student, and they were all pissed out of their minds. And God bless them, they were just fantastic drama students. Sorry, Rick.
I didn't have anything. I was just talking rubbish.
Yeah.
Although I was going to say,
Morgan, what
if you think there might have been sad people in your course, I've seen maths with computer science. The people in my course could barely speak. Never mind.
Okay. All right. Now that we've bared our souls about uni, we should probably get back to playing the game. Just a suggestion.
What decision did you make, Morgan? What did you choose between those two things? Because my brain popped out.
The project fails one.
Oh no! And what project failed?
My project.
Yeah, the Rick's project, the technology one. Wow, I'm getting really. I'm doing such a good day. Such a good day. I'm doing such a good day, you guys. I'm doing such a good day.
Such many good today. Multiple good.
I talk good.
Failed technology. You know what? Whenever the council fails, it does make me bring the glow to my heart. So you know what? We are having a good day, guys.
That is true.
Not you, Rick, just the council. They are. You literally said they were dicks, and they are.
But then
Yeah.
they make everyone's lives hard, which I love.
Yeah, you do. Okay. So I need to do a discussion, discovery, or a project. Discussion. The scientists ask, are we going to do anything for the tentacle people or the wildlife or the exiles at all before this tidal wave hits? Or rather, no, let me freeze that. Can we incorporate anyone else into our shelter plan?
The spider people have their own shelters, but we could certainly think about trying to maybe broker a peace with the exiles to help them make their shelters, say the engineers, who just like building things.
Yeah.
What say you,
the council say? The council say? What say you, the council? Well, obviously something terrible. The council say. I'm trying to think what the council would do. The council say. No, that we should offer help, but only if they come into the fold of our control.
Ooh.
Yeah, they can come, but they need to. I don't know. They need to abide by our laws.
Our laws, because we make that laws.
I was. Sorry. I like how you mocked Rick and then I mocked you in turn for some reason there. Sorry, that's an automatic reaction.
But technically, it was mocking the council.
That was
though,
just
right?
me. Yeah. No, that's definitely mocking Rick. Extent of the council.
I should have mocked paths, and then we get stuck in a loop.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would. It'd be great. Always mock me whenever you like.
Okay, noted. Noted and planned.
I'm gonna regret saying that.
What? No. Why would you regret saying that?
You're doing it right then.
Sorry, what was Rick's response to the question, to the discussion?
That we should let them in, but get something in return. Like the rebels have to stop being rebels, and yeah, the spider people have to be like, give us shit. Basics of power play, right? It's like we should.
Of course.
Dick move.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. Then I'm gonna follow up with they're just gonna say whatever we need to do, anything, because we have a moral imperative to protect these people. Okay, so that makes it Rick's turn with the 8 of clubs.
I think that means the shelter project's finished. Although
Yes.
it was my project. And
It
then
was
became
yours.
Paz's project. So who decides how? I think Paz has to decide how it went.
Okay, fine, but it's not time for that. You need to deal with your card first.
Oh right, sorry. Okay, sorry.
8 of clubs.
You're out of turn, Ricardo. Out of turn.
You're a loose cannon, Ricardo.
I am. No one's ever described me as a loose cannon.
Well,
How could he do
congratulations, Ricardo.
Does that make you happy? I feel like that would cheer you up.
Finally, I get that Scout's badge.
The loose cannon
Turning your
badge.
chat badge and guns out, snag.
What's my card? Sorry, I've been.
8
Ooh,
clubs.
8 of clubs. Okay. I feel. Okay, someone sabotages the project, and the project fails as a result. Who did this? Why? Which is a very tempting option. Someone is caught trying to sabotage the efforts of the community. How does the community bond? That's a tough choice. There's only one project, right? I can't think who would sabotage the. So maybe someone. I can't really imagine who would sabotage it. Okay, yeah, I know. Okay, so the tentacle people sabotage it. Unbeknownst to us,
Okay.
they've survived many tidal waves, and they want rid of us. So
Oh, right.
Oh no!
So they swarm it. I don't know. Again, I don't know why you're surprised by this. It's not exactly a shocking outcome.
Little bastards!
There we go. And I think we have like one more turn before the tidal wave shows up, or like 2 more turns.
Yeah, did we didn't make a counter for that, did we? Just for our own sakes.
No, but it's like whenever the tidal wave turns up, it's up to us. We can just make.
Sure. Uh-huh. That's true.
I think I'm gonna have a project.
Okay, but now we have to
Discovery
do
or-
the project wrap up that you tried to do out of turn earlier.
No, but the project that project got cancelled. It got canned. I sabotaged it.
Oh, you did. Oh my god. Wow.
You just reverse carded us in Uno.
Oh.
You were like, project failed. No, you failed.
Oh.
And it was my project as well.
It was. Uno.
Yeah, sorry.
Fancy Uno.
You're not
So-
sorry. Don't be such
Sorry,
a
not
liar.
sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, so project. This is toughy. This is a toughie. I mean, obviously, it's got to be tidal wave related, but I don't know what we're going to do because it's too late for everything. It's just too late. I know. Yes. We're going to start. Sorry, wrong one. I can't get rid of that now. We're going to start a project to develop to recover our cryogenic pods that some of them got splattered all over the place, so that we can hibernate through the tidal wave. But there's not enough room for everybody.
Ooh. Just double checking.
Of course not.
How? That is actually really genius. To be fair, that's a very clever way of bringing that back to kind of where we began. I have to ask. So, just so that I understand, a project finished early, and then wait, I'm confused. Which project was sabotaged?
The project to reinforce to make our habitats tidal wave proof.
Oh
Yeah.
no! Shelters.
I literally had no choice.
Who
No choice, you say.
No, I did have a choice.
Who sabotaged Who sabotaged it then?
It was the tentacle men, the tentacle
Oh,
creatures.
of course. Yes, my apologies. I'm sorry.
They
my
killed a bunch of
ADHD.
engineers,
Oh,
faked them because they can appear as people because they can wrap the tentacles around them, and then they sabotaged it.
My engineers! No! Oh, the engineers are no longer here. I stole that joke from TF2. Do not laugh. Just, do not credit me. I've literally the whole time I've just been picturing like a whole big group of engineers from TF2 just being like, I'm moving this, etc. And just wandering around. It makes me laugh.
I don't know TF2. I don't play it.
Oh, they're the other people I write fanfiction about.
Of course you do. That makes sense. That makes way too much sense.
Yay! God. Anyway.
Okay.
We're next card, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. Next card. Jack of Clubs.
Is that me or you?
That's
I think that's
you.
pal.
Yeah. That's you.
Jack of Clubs. And project finishes early. Which one? Why? If there are no projects underway, restlessness creates animosity, which leads to violence. Who gets hurt? We don't have any projects, do we? Or do we?
Yeah, we do.
No, we.
The
We
cryogenic
do.
project.
Oh, okay.
Ah, yes.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, a project finishes early. Oh, I'm gonna, because I am again the happy good one. I say we find a lot of the a project finishes early. Does that mean I decide what happens with it, or does that mean Rick decides? You know.
No, it says which one and why, so I think you decide.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Well,
We
you
find
decide
a
why it finishes early, but Rick. Well, I mean, I don't know. I suppose it's kind of the same thing, isn't it?
I can do it.
Yeah.
I can do it.
Okay. I will say it finishes early because we find just a lot of pods, but they're a bit damaged, so they still need some time to be repaired. They can be repaired, they just need a bit of time to be repaired. So we do find the pods, but They need a
Okay.
bit of TLC and love. Teamwork.
Gotcha.
Let me get rid
Okay.
of all of these. Yeah. And then it's start a project, discussion, or discovery.
We don't have anything to tick over, so yeah.
No. Moment, please.
Autumn's definitely ramping things up. The cards.
It is, really is. It's this is no picnic anymore.
No.
I would say we haven't had a discovery in a long time, says Pascal, living up to their stereotype. Listen, it's actually no. I'm going to start a project. I'm going to see if. Do you remember the buildings we went into with all the lasers? I'm going to start a project. Some engineers are going to head on over. And how long until the tidal wave comes? Is there like a counter down to
Whenever
that,
we
or
want.
is it?
Like it's soon.
Yeah.
Like it's soon,
it's
but whenever we
definitely
want.
yeah. I'm gonna say the engineers are gonna run over to the laser building, the heat square buildings full of lasers and AI, and go consult the AI to see if we can survive this tidal wave. And see if we can use those buildings for shelters. I think that'll take 3 weeks. Say 3 weeks. Is that all right?
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Awesome. I can't. Here we go. I can edit that. Cool. Right, and then I end my turn.
Okie dokie. So that makes it my turn. And I've got the Queen of Clubs. This is our last card for autumn. It's very exciting. We're going to need to take a break after this card. And the Queen of Clubs is disease spreads through the community. Choose one. You spend the week quarantining and treating the disease. Project dice are not reduced this week. Or nobody knows what to do about it. Add health and fertility as a scarcity.
No.
Ooh.
I think that the tidal wave comes and it brings a lot of debris and muck, and with it disease. And no one understands what the disease is. The spider villagers have never seen it before. It doesn't affect them. Yeah, it's no good. So I'm going to add to our list of scarcities. Okay.
Guys, you don't need me anymore. All the bad stuff is already happening.
It's now written into the game.
Yay!
Okay. So we do have a project. Okay, we're gonna take the new project down, and then discussion, discovery, or project. Right. Well, I think the scientists get mad on trying to figure out what our disease is. And I want to see if I can do one of those, if I can actually draw one of those serpent staff thingies. You know what I mean?
Yeah, what's it called? There's a name for it.
Yeah, it's Greek, isn't it?
Yeah,
Oh,
like with the two snakes, like, and the star. Caduceus?
That's where my brain went to.
That'll do.
I don't know if that actually qualifies as it. That just doesn't look anything like it. I'm gonna put a red cross next to it.
It is a caduceus.
Caduceus. Why does that sound so rude?
There we go.
That's a good
Caduceus
one. I know what that is.
just makes me think of Jay and Silent Bob. Kadoosh. Which actually is that Jay and Silent Bob? I'm not sure. It sounds like something Jay would say. That's the noise that's made in the final credits of a TV show that I watch. What TV show is that? Now my brain is going to Andy Samberg. What? If George were here, he'd know. Okay. Well, that was my best attempt at a caduceus staff. And yep. Okay. So super long project. We're not even going to get to the point where we know exactly what's happening probably, or we're not going to be solving the problem. We're just going to be investigating it. It's super long. It takes a long time. As we all seem to know about, pandemics and diseases now. I'm sorry. I brought real life into it. Damn it.
It's alright.
Okay. Right. Did I bring... yeah, I brought that one down already. And then... oh, no, that was the project. That was me adding the project. What am I thinking? Okay. Yeah. Yeah. It's Rick's turn. No, it's break time. That's what I said. I said it's time for a break.
Break time!
Woo! Break time! Make sure I have...
Snack time.
10 minutes good for you guys?
Sounds good to me.
That's good.
Okay. Then we are going to swap to a break. We will see y'all soon.
Bye.
Hey, party people! Woo! Woo, woo, woo! Wait, no, how does it go? Wah, wah, wah! No, I just can't do it. Sorry. That's the one!
It's one of my many talents that I have put on my CV. Making that one sound.
Oh my god, I disgust myself.
I can make a great sound. Goddamn horn. Right.
Oh, marvelous. Okay, where are we? We are starting winter. And, oh shit, guys.
What? What?
Sorry.
What?
Can any of you see the card that I've drawn?
Are you kidding me?
So the mechanic in winter is that as soon as you draw the king of spades, the game is over.
Whoop.
Guess which is the first spade that I drew.
So it's winter now, and we completely ended the game already.
Game's over.
Yay, we won the game of the quiet
No, this is the what
time to get into our cryogenic pods. Imagine if we were all just in our cryogenic pods when the frost shepherds showed up. No, we're just like 1 foot in them, like, oh shit.
Oh no. I think one of the things I like about this game is that you always lose this game.
Yeah, that's cool.
Oh man,
yeah.
we lost hard.
Yeah, we did.
Disease. We got hit by a tidal wave.
Oh, okay.
Didn't even manage to finish
wow, that was
tidal
quick.
or shelter.
Super quick. I was sort of figuring. The trouble with trying to figure out how long we were going to go on is that it could be a full 13 cards. It could be 6 cards. It could be 2 cards. It could be 8 cards. It never occurred to me that it might not be any cards.
That is so weird.
Get a chance. Real disaster to take hold. Wow. So,
so look at our art skills, guys.
Questions?
Look at these skills, lads. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I'm really proud of what we did.
Yeah, it looks like it looks like a couple of 12-year-olds and one adult all started doodling.
Hey!
I think the problem is I think we were all periodically the adult at some point and all mostly the 12-year-old.
There's some things like
It's
you're
very
good at
hard
drawing,
to
and then
draw.
there's other things, yeah.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
We struggled. Wow, so that's just it. You know, I feel almost like bad for our community that we kind of failed them. Well,
yeah, we did.
We were the community.
We were
so
always
we
gonna.
ourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel bad.
What's your favorite part of this map?
Yeah.
What's your favorite area?
I like the laser. With the
Yeah.
Actually, yeah,
It's
it's
quite
my
good.
favorite bit as well. I think the laser
Honestly,
bit is
I
really
think
great.
my favorite is the Candy Moss Caves and the
Yes!
Moonwolves. That's my
You know
favorite.
what? I'm
That was
very
cute.
pleased that both of my doodles came out on top there.
Yeah, I love it. It's really my favorite.
You're
we
clearly
will-
probably the most talented drawer out of me.
Oh yeah,
And you.
100%.
Thanks.
100%. I'm
It's
giggling at my
definitely
little let's see, how can I highlight things?
I was trying to find the laser pointer, but I couldn't find it.
My little, oh yeah, laser
It's-
pointer.
it's a
I know what it
little
is.
drop.
Where's the laser pointer? Yep, it
It's a
looks like a
little drop.
teardrop.
Oh, there was a.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, it's working. I'm a big fan of my like stocks. Well, not a fan of it so much as I just think it's hilarious. Like it's just so
I love how
ridiculous.
he almost looks like he's with the way his leg is very bandy. He looks like one of those like rubber hose cartoons. Just really. What I want to draw attention to, and where is the laser pointer? Okay, so is that working? Did the laser pointer work? I wanted to say that one, I absolutely loved the things you guys came up with. Like, I adored the singing lake. I loved the fish. I loved the fact that you know, the exiles. Somebody came up with the exiles, and they came up with, like, I think that was you, Morgan, with, you know, the particular vegetation they had. You know, I really liked that in the beginning that we had like the communication tower up, and then it was immediately smacked back down and just be like, go away, we don't want to talk to you and your cursed ass planet.
That was really good. That was really funny.
Enjoyed that. I love how almost every positive thing we did was immediately smacked back down by one of us, and honestly it was character building. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah. Yeah. Let me just, I need to find one last thing for, oh no, crap, it's got to be the other one.
I thought we really bounced
Keep
well
talking.
off each other.
Yeah.
I thought we
Oh,
went
I agree.
boing,
Yeah.
boing.
I agree. Anything
I think
else
it's-
particularly
yeah,
cool about
yeah.
this map while we're still looking at it?
I
I like the
how you
chemical
just
bottle.
grow.
Yeah,
Oh,
sorry,
yeah,
what was that, Rick? Say that again, Rick?
Yeah, I can see that.
Can you, yeah, I like the little test fonts and not, yeah,
Okay.
little
Oh, the
flask.
beaker. Yeah.
That was cute.
It is very
Who
cute.
drew this crystal kind of formation? This little thing over here. It's really good. I like it. I just like that little. I have no idea what it is. It's just
Which
like
crystal
a big
formation?
rocky outcrop with a space. This thing in.
I
I think my laser pointer is totally. Oh, that's a shame.
Yeah,
Hang on,
no.
give me a sec.
Is it the one that's got the
The west
diamond in the middle at the bottom?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, that one.
yeah. Actually,
Sorry,
I
the
do
dog is
that.
trying to steal stuff. The little crystal in the cave.
Yeah, I do
Yeah.
that with the
Oh,
Voyager
that's
sticking out the top of it.
It's cute. I love it.
Ooh,
I like
Thank
the
you.
fact that it's such little doodles. We managed to put a lot of character into a lot of things.
I
I will say
agree.
one fascinating thing though. One fascinating thing is that we did not use the middle of the map at all. It's
We really
like,
didn't.
without the rain
Why?
symbol, there is a massive gap in the middle of this thing that we just
Why
stayed
is
away
that?
from.
Interesting.
I'm not.
But then that's
sure.
because all the interesting stuff happens at the edges, doesn't it? We should have put the main thing in the middle.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know
everything-
how-
Maybe. I think because, that you start off the game sort of setting the scene in general, like the terrain. So you try to sort of fill the space with those, in our case, 3 things. And then
Mm.
after that, and what we did is, so I did the space here, Rick did the lake, and then you did the Candy Moss Caves. And I mean, that was a good spread for those things when they were just that on the board, on the paper. But the tendency is to want to draw everything else that comes afterwards near something else. And so it just,
true.
because the rain isn't an actual object, there was nothing to draw near it.
Yeah, that's true.
Mm.
But then a lot of it's
would-
not really a map, is it? It's because lots
Very
of the stuff we
figurative.
create isn't, it's allegorical or metaphysical.
Yeah.
Physical,
Hi,
but like
Ben.
it's not landscape.
Sorry, I just noticed that Ben popped in. Oh, yeah, you've been working on your chest. That's great. We actually, the game is over. The first spade that we drew was the king that ended the game. So we're just going over stuff. So yeah, okay, let's move out from this map. We've been talking. Sorry,
if
I'm switching
possible.
back. There we go.
That being, I love the fact that your contempt tokens on both of your sides are both shaped like dicks, and the fact that Rick's dick is
Shorter.
is seemingly longer just out of spite. I thought I would be the one who'd be harvesting those contempt tokens, but no, it was Rick who was like, I'm too shy to bring this into my party, and here he
Like,
is.
Yeah.
content tokens on.
It's
Irresentment.
there's something really fun about declaring your conflict out loud, your displeasure or whatever.
I think that was the
Or what
most
have
powerful
you.
thing about this game, is that it's got the
Okay, all right. Sorry, you can hear me now. I'm adding everybody else. I did this. I made this scene last minute for this particular moment in the game, and forgot audio, which we should all have now. Everybody say hi again.
Hey.
Hey.
All good, Ben?
Can you hear us?
Awesome. Excellent. Sorry about that.
Fixed, yeah, that's good.
Oh, and I was actually, what I was doing when you said that was moving this logo. There we go. That's better. Okie dokie. And of course, because I'm in studio mode, it gets a little bit confusing, but here we go. All right. We did a thing.
Back.
Yep. We're all well sorted. And I had a couple of questions now for us to sort of answer as a group. If I can find them, then we can answer them. And Pascal wrote some really interesting questions that I asked him to post really early so that I had a chance to look at them, and then I did not look at them because I'm a pro.
If I did post those at like 8 in the morning, so if they don't make any sense, then it's fine. I have more questions to ask.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So let's start at the beginning. What do we particularly like about this game? Go ahead, Rick.
Yeah, I was just saying, it's like, I like the fact that the rules are sort of, I don't know the word, like implicit. Like they have no like mechanical things, and there's nothing really mechanical about any of it. It's just a lot of the stuff is like soft, like you resolve it through conversation, or you just make stuff up. And it just reminded me of like playing like make believe when you were little. Like I used to do similar things where I would get a piece of paper and everyone would draw stuff on it, and it's I thought it worked really like the contempt tokens. Like they don't do anything, but you just use them. Yeah.
I'm particularly, I mean, on that note, I'm very much a fan of the fact that it's explicitly said in the rules that that whatever you say is true. That basically, you don't get to talk about it to much of any extent, and whatever you decide is what happens. And I think that's a thing that more games should say explicitly, because I don't know any games where that's not exactly true. And I know a lot of people who play D&D in a way that basically everything is up for discussion, and you can't make any moves or any choices without the rest of the players trying to get an oar in on your character's choices. And I guess if that's the way you like to play it, then go for it. But to me, that's very much the opposite of what I like about role-playing games.
I mean, it has a sort of, because Morgan and I ran a one-shot of classic adventure B2 Keep on the Borderlands, and because it's kind of a bit like the OSR, which is all about as little rules as possible, and their favourite saying, rules over rulings. But then I felt like that we had real problems with that, because I would make because I had to make rulings, obviously, and people considered them fair or unfair, so that didn't work. But with this, there wasn't any of that, so I'm not sure what's different between the two situations.
I think, I mean, I suppose it's like you were saying, it's implicit in the rules that they're so abstract in many ways that that you don't really think that about that level of detail in what you do next, basically, if that makes sense. Yeah.
I mean, it's a great piece of, I think it's an amazing piece of game design, because you don't notice the funnel, like there's something funneling you through this stuff, and it's not really obvious. And
I mean, yeah, it's not without its faults, but
yeah, no, but it's I mean, the gentle way it prods you rather than like the mechanical. Like, I'm used to Dungeons and Dragons, like role-playing games. The mechanics are the game or the structure of the game, whereas this is much more subtle, which I thought was really good.
Yeah. All right, Paz, what do you think is so great about this game?
I like the fact that it allowed you to ostensibly get something, a world together pretty quickly. Now, I would say, like, I think it did take a long time to play us, but we were having a good time when we were doing it, so I don't really mind that so much. But I did develop an attachment to this world and, you know, what could have happened to it. But the fact that it had this emotional draw to it that by the end, I mean, it was very funny, the fact that you pulled out the one card that ends the game at the end of at the beginning of winter.
I was looking forward to Rick enjoying the just general disaster of winter.
Oh, exactly.
That would have been amazing. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
We were all looking forward to an absolute Armageddon, but it did feel like that. I like the fact that in the rules, a lot of it contended with the fact that no, there aren't going to be solutions sometimes, and some things like the discussions allowed for us to waste time. Literally mechanically waste time for us to all go, what are we going to do next? And we go, well, I don't know. And then that would be our turn. That would literally be like, how are we going to make this decision as a community? The community goes, we don't know because we're not miracle workers. And I mean, there was we had a lot to contend with over the year. We had a lot to contend with. So that's why I liked it. It really did challenge my brain, and it had an emotional draw to it as well. Yeah, I like that.
That makes me think of the way that it limits how much you can actually do, because this game is very much a mix of doing things and talking about things and things happening around you, and your traditional role-playing games are all very much about doing stuff. Like, if you're not doing something, if you're not being active, if you're not taking action, then the idea is that you're playing the game wrong. But this game very much limits how much action you can actually take, in the structure of it, and the fact that projects can only take 6 weeks, and projects are the only way you have of actually doing anything, of actually taking any actions, and I think that's a really good mechanical allegory. And Ben will love this. It's got great thematic resonance with the story of the game. In that it prevents you from doing more than you really should be able to as a community. It fits the story very well. And it forces you to have all of this fluff of discussion that goes nowhere and doesn't mean anything, and arguments and things happening that you can't do anything about because you're preoccupied with something else. To me, that's a really excellent design.
And the spontaneous way that we came up with factions, they mentioned factions. The rules mention factions, and then we're like, well, how did? And then it just organically. You have to have them. Just
that's really good. Okay, what is? Lost track of my brain, as usual. Right. Okay. So, if you were to recommend this game, to a person, who is the person that you would recommend this game to? What type of people should play this game?
Someone already experienced with tabletop RPGs and board games in the first place. I would not recommend this to, say, I would never get my family isn't a board game family anyway, but if I were to try and wrangle my poor family into trying to make this, it's not that they wouldn't understand it, it's not that they wouldn't even, like appreciate it for what it was. I mean, I think that if I had a bunch of friends together who I was going to have for like who some of them didn't play D&D or whatever games, etc., I think they would have a hard time keeping up with a lot of the tiny nuances. I think there is some element of being familiar with role playing and world building that you come into with this game, because otherwise you're going to struggle. It's going to feel more like a little bit more restrictive than something like I don't know, a one shot or a murder mystery or Twister or any other kind of board game would be for people. Whereas it would be this, I think, if you're already experienced with role-playing games, you're looking for something a bit calmer and a bit more, creatively friendly. I think people who are experienced in this kind of thing would enjoy it quite a lot.
Yeah. I think that makes a really good point about just the creative freedom that is required in order to play this game well and enjoy it. It's a kind of improv, but less concrete than what you think of when you watch Saturday Night Live or see some improv on a stage or whatever. Or even like when you think of DM improving, it's less concrete than that. It's more of just, and this is for me what is particularly fun about games like this, is it's like those silly conversations you have with your friends when you're like a little bit high or a little bit drunk and it's really late at night and you're just shooting the shit and somebody tells a funny story and then somebody builds on that story, and it's that kind of improv. Somebody puts on a funny voice and you just like make up a story together. It's a normal part of like human interaction. This sort of collaboration, and so it's not everybody will think game and be able to access that place. I think for most people, while I say that yes, they have done it, they're capable of it, I think it's a very, very specific space in most people's brains. Like it's that slightly drunk or, coming down from a buzz at 3 a.m. kind of space in most people's heads. And, but for games, that's very much a learned behavior, I think. And unless you play that kind of RPG or you're used to playing board games even, or if you're, say, a verbally creative human being, so a writer, this sort of thing isn't...
The writers will love this game.
Yeah. It doesn't come naturally to you. So unless you've got some people with you who can like facilitate that in you, who can bring that part of you out because it exists already. Yeah, you're right. I wouldn't say to an isolated person who's never played an RPG or a board game or isn't a writer, this is a game you should play. Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think, Rick?
What was the question again? The original question, I've completely forgotten.
Who should play this game?
Okay. So I thought, for world building, for most world building, I don't think it, if you were doing like world building for fantasy, I'm not sure this would. What I did think it would be good for is world building for a horror game. You arrive after the things have arrived, the Winter Kings arrived, and like everything's set up, and you have this like complex situation, and then maybe they can retrace the steps, although you'd have to have different players.
Yeah, I get you.
So that no spoilers.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I feel like there's no, because I've seen other world building games where there is enough structure that using it for an ulterior motive, like an ulterior purpose, is totally possible. I'm not sure that that's really the case here, simply because it's too abstract. There's not enough structure. There aren't enough boundaries.
Yeah. If you're looking for a specific theme, or
Yeah. Sorry, I just realized that I didn't include captions in this as well, so I've re-added that back in.
I don't think it's a replayable game. I think it's definitely a one-shot. I think once you play through the cards, you know what to expect. I think you'd struggle to...
It's the kind of game that should have... Like, it should have card sets, like seasons. Do you know what I mean? Like
I disagree. I reckon a game on its second way round with this game might be more enjoyable, because it might be a bit more streamlined. It might be, once you recognize it's a tool for getting you where you want to go, as it were, getting you into a world building mindset. I think that yes, you would come spoilers, but then you'd feel a bit more freedom to be able to discuss, what you would, I think, as we got later into the game, we all started getting more comfortable and going, okay, fuck it, a tidal wave, and it was great. Whereas in the early parts of that of the game, we weren't really sure. We were a little bit more like, oh, we don't want to make too big of a splash, but then later on we were like, yeah, screw it, tidal wave, disease, just ruining everyone's plans, kind of thing. So
I actually think
I
actually think if we were to play this again, that is one of the things that I would change about how we played it. Is I would not do things like tidal waves, possibly not even do that whole what do you call it, the limited food supply thing that happened that I did earlier on, because I think that the potential to like wipe out the entire settlement is too drastic a move for a game like this, because you basically, it reminds me of like the ultimate no in improv games is saying no. Is creating concrete no's that people can't.
I feel attacked.
Why?
Because the tidal wave is my baby.
I know.
No, you're right. I'm joking.
It's my baby.
Because what would we have done?
It's a very quotable thing.
What would we have done if all of our projects to fend it off had failed? And it had come.
I didn't think that would happen.
Fail.
I didn't think that would happen.
They did fail.
But that brings me on to an interesting topic, which is why I think, because Paz was saying that at the start we were all a bit timid, but I don't think we were. I think it was the seasons. Because when summer, everything's there.
That's true.
And then in spring and then autumn, it encourages you to destroy the setting.
Well, we did, Ben, in the end, have a bit of a water world, because we did like, so you watched, so when you watched the earlier streams, we had this project set up to put up like a tidal wall to prevent it from hitting us. Only Paz screwed us over with that. and said the engineers decided to stop the tidal wall project and switch over to reinforcing our habitat so that it could survive the tidal wave. So the tidal waves still crash.
Okay, I have a defense here. One, the cards told me to do that. There wasn't another option for me to go. And it wasn't the engineers who decided to do that.
Oh.
It was because, which I'm blaming Rick here. The rain came down and was like, rain started being in abundance, so I was like, oh, I'll just go with that then. And then at least I moved it on to another project and not just took away the whole thing. So we tried guys.
And then it caused a bunch of disease because the water actually hit us and brought disease with it. But that was also the game's fault.
Yeah, it's the game's fault. You're out of 10.
Although I want to double back onto an idea that Morgan had.
What's that?
About the replayability of this, and I think you mentioned something. I thought you could make plugins really easily for this game. Like you could create new cards and put them in and stuff like that.
Oh my. Yeah. I wonder if that's something the designer would be into. The designer doesn't really make the kind of games that you're used to thinking about, people hacking. So that's interesting.
You could do like genres and stuff.
Yeah, I kind of like that.
Yeah, you could lean it towards a particular genre. Okay. Let's see, what other questions have we got? Let's go through Paz's list of questions because I want to save Rick's for last. Okay. Yours is the serious one that you weren't sure you wanted to talk about out loud.
Okay, I still don't know.
Okay.
Go on.
Okay. I'm just going to read this out. Do you think map building is something we can incorporate into other games such as TTRPGs? I mean, I have a hard time not following that up with an immediate, verbal caps yes. Yeah.
More of this, yeah.
What were your thoughts
Absolutely.
on that, Paz?
I think, yes, but not just in the idea that, specifically what I mean is more cooperative map building. Because it's very common for the DM to, make a map and things like that. But I think having players, make, especially in things like D&D, where often you're just an adventuring party, or any number of fantasy, sword and sorcery type things, or even sci-fi, I suppose, where you're just an adventuring party, just trying to get around and you're doing quests and things like that. I feel like making actual dents to the map and actually changing things and changing the world around you specifically, building hideouts, building lairs, building, destroying a volcano, or making it erupt or something like that, or
that would make a great game supplement. How to destroy your DM's map.
Exactly, like a lake that the DM puts down, early in the game, and then I don't know, a white dragon comes along, swoops down, they say, and as a result of that fight, one of the players says, oh, the whole lake is now frozen over, and so the villagers can't fish there anymore, and so we have to help the villagers try and get some of the kind of food source or something like that. That kind of thing, to make those big, I think that would make players feel like a bit more like they're impacting their world more, and that they have to say in things. Their actions mean consequences.
Yeah, that really calls me back to what I was talking about earlier with how games need to be more explicit about the way that about player collaboration with the world, that what a player says happens, that because stuff like this would be the case. Like in my games, I expect people, and I try desperately to encourage them to do the kinds of things that you're talking about. In fact, character creation alone is like a blanket opportunity for the players to put their mark on the world. Half of the stuff that exists on Kinda was imagined by a player. And that's how I like my games. That's how I think we should all play, to be honest. I think if you haven't tried it that way, you're totally missing out. I don't even think that's a personality type thing. I think you're just missing out. So yeah, I think, you know, more GMs need to say, hey, you know, if I haven't put something here already, you can just say, and we come on a lake, and there's a lake there. Okay, drawing a lake on the map, you know. You can say, you could do things like that. I think we should all play like that more. Yeah. What do you think, Rick?
But then then you probably, like, Fate does that kind of thing. And I think Dungeon World as well does a bit where it's like, yeah, like with Fate, you can play it so you start play by collaboratively coming up with a setting, and you can declare facts about the world and things like that.
Yeah. I like that phrase, declare facts about the world. That's good. That's a good one to keep using. All right. Is there anything we felt could have been more streamlined / more efficient in the game, the way it was played?
I think the opposite. I think, like, the idea that, because it was supposed to only spend like 2 or 3 minutes per season, I think, per week.
No. Well, yeah, per week, basic per player interaction with the specific thing that the rules have asked you to do.
But there's no way we would do that.
No.
Or we could even do that. There's no way we would keep to that.
No.
We had fun, but I
agree. I think, honestly, I feel like if we stuck to the rules, the game could get really kind of monotonous and a bit boring, to be honest, if we were really hardcore about the rules. And I felt like, for the purpose of this stream, we were trying to stick to the rules to keep things moving. And I'm just not sure how fun that really ended up being, to be honest. If I played this game at home, like privately with just you guys in my lounge, I think I would have just said, just don't fuss about the rules, don't fuss about how long you take, just, let's be a little bit loose with everything, a little bit more loose with it. But then also this game would have taken all fucking day to play. Which is why there's a short version of the game, which is you only draw 8 cards from each suit. I think 8, yeah.
I mean, how many hours did we actually play? I think we played 2 4-hour games, and we did a couple of hours
6
today. So that's
6 plus of actual gameplay.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I think the shorter game, I think it got it dragged on a little bit, I felt like the shorter game might have been.
Yeah. For something like this, the shorter game would have been a better choice. Did you have any specific thoughts on that, Paz, that we haven't mentioned?
I guess I felt sometimes it's not that I wasn't trying, because I definitely was one of the biggest causes of the tangents, because I'm just a big old tangent myself. But I felt sometimes it wasn't that I was trying to be forcing myself or anyone else to, stick to the diktats of the game. I felt that some of the split decision cards maybe could have been one card or another, because I felt there were some situations with the split decision cards that you would only ever go for one, or we were just so forced, especially in autumn. There were many times when we were like, well, we don't have any projects, or we don't have any, projects that, aren't ending this week, or we haven't made a discussion recently, or whatever the split decision was. That I felt like Some of them could have been a bit shorter, or I would maybe, if someone's playing this for the first time, I would maybe encourage to play with less than the full deck of cards. That's what I would say, but just because it got a lot for me, but that's only because I have the concentration of a gnat. And that's just me personally. That's not a critique of the game so much as it is my own play style, I think. Yeah.
No, I think
I agree, like, some of the options are like, there's the interesting one, there's a really dull one.
Yeah, there was some ones which were like, all completely didn't fit, you know.
But I mean, I don't know, maybe somebody else would have found the really interesting bit, you know what I mean, in that other option that we didn't see.
And I kind of enjoyed the tangents. I liked the...
Yeah, I do. I felt sort of bad that we felt like we had to avoid them. Let's see what else. What's the next one? How do you feel about the instructions within the game trying to maintain a certain tone, i.e. not too much small talk, contempt tokens to reduce in-game squabbles?
I liked it. That's why I asked the question. Everyone else.
I think it does really lend you somewhere, and to me that's a good sign of it pushes you in a certain direction, and to me that's a sign of good writing, which I think is also important to good design. I think, and I'm going to use this phrase again, Ben, if you're listening still, I think that your writing also needs to have thematic resonance, which, to be honest, I think is a thing that, you know, say D&D has always felt like it needed to have. And then you look at games like Pathfinder, for instance, that
Dreamlabs has told Ben off.
Ben just did like a string of emotes, Ben. I think.
Streamlabs, so strict.
That was me actually trying to prevent spammers. Ben's a spammer. What was I saying?
Thematic resonance.
Yeah, so in D&D, what you'll notice... I was talking about Pathfinder and how Pathfinder's tone is really, really neutral. And to me, that says something about the way that they design the game and what they expect out of it is that they don't want to push you in a particular direction, tone-wise, genre-wise. Pathfinder very specifically wants you to have lots of options. That's why it's such a crunchy game. Whereas D&D still has this very specific tone, this very traditionalist, Tolkien-esque fantasy feel to it that you can see in the writing itself of the game. And I think, personally, I think that's why we still have so much trouble with historical ideologies of role-playing fantasy RPGs, is because the Dragon game still upholds that in its language and its tone.
The Dragon game.
I don't like saying it out loud.
Dragon game. One with the wizards.
Yeah.
Beach wizards game.
But I could go on and on for days about writing quality and stuff like that. I mean, again, another problem with the whole system is this words per minute payment concept that, you know, which is great for periodicals that are very word specific and need to have a very set number of words filled just to make a periodical work. But in game design, that's utter BS. It just creates bad writing. from
But then I
people
think
who
that's-
should be good writers and are good writers.
I think that's a market thing more though. I think it's not so much the word although I agree totally that you shouldn't be paid per word. You should just be paid a fixed amount, and in fact pay more for the less words you write. But it's a market thing. I think people, the mainstream RPG market demands huge tomes. Like Zweihander, I think he specifically and deliberately made that.
Maybe.
At least 1,000.
To be honest, though, he could, and I think he's actually said this as well, that he could have made more money if he'd split it up into separate books, given what he charges for the one giant book. Yeah, but it is definitely an industry phenomenon, this concept of like the bigger the book, the special, because you've got the more special, you've got things like Zweihander. It's a novelty thing, though, isn't it? Kind of. You've got Zweihander, you've got what is that game? It starts with a P and it has like a weird Greekish name. That's like the biggest book ever.
Oh, I?
Say that again?
What's the game about?
Things with a P.
Yeah.
The Greek letter
No.
P is Chi.
Oh,
Okay.
you mean Ptolis?
I think.
The city
Do
of
I?
Ptolis. I don't know.
I think it's got like a Y in it. It's very Greeky sounding, I remember. I'm sorry that I can't remember. You might be right.
What's in the game?
Ptolis.
What's it about?
Ptolis. It is Ptolis. When you said Ptolis, sorry. It's pronounced Ptolis, but it's got a P in front of it, and I know why you said it that way now. Okay, yes, that is exactly the game. Ptolis. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, but that was huge at the time when that came out. That was like really.
Yeah, it's like 800 pages.
Because
yeah, sure. It's got like a ginormous setting in it and everything, hasn't it? And I think nowadays it's used mostly as a setting, or maybe it is just a setting.
Well, it was a setting. It was like. I mean, that really made Monty Cook.
Yeah.
Just that. But yeah, because he's redoing it for 5e, I think.
Possibly, but I still think from a purely business standpoint, you could have smaller books and charge exactly the same amount of money for it, and I don't think people would have any tangible complaints about it, to be honest. And I think you could very easily defend yourself, especially nowadays, by saying we're charging this is what the work, it's still the same amount of work that went into that larger book, but we're giving you a better book for it. So
yeah, I agree.
And I think it would be a huge game changer as well to have a book that was just more streamlined and efficient. And we're totally off topic now. Like I said, I could go on about this. I really could.
Yeah, we need a whole program just for that.
So the last question was the one that Rick wanted to talk about. And that was about something that the designer brings up herself in the book. And that's this concept of colonialism. I got it right. I was worried I was not going to say it right. It's
after
this,
I confused it.
It's this concept of colonialism that is inherent in the game. And I think it's a really interesting point made by the designer, because you read it and if your mind is not there, you could easily not expect it and be a perpetrator of it at the same time. Because of that. I mean, I think we were still vaguely perpetrators of it, but also vaguely not.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, like, it shocked me how quickly, like I was kind of thought to myself when I was reading that bit on, the what's called the Deep Forest, was it called? Or the Great Forest?
Yeah, the Deep Forest, yeah.
That expansion, I was like, that's a really interesting thing to add to the game, and I'm really glad they reflected on it. But I was like, shouldn't be all. It seemed like a bit of a stretch to go that far. But then again, I had to play the game. As soon as we played the game, I realised we are a team of like refugees looking for somewhere to settle of course this is going to happen. No matter where, like, no matter
Yeah.
what the setting was, we were going to, we weren't going to be all alone. There were going to be other people on the horizon. So it was inherent to the game, and it did shock me as soon as we go, we were like, oh yeah, we're invading these people's spaces.
Yeah. I keep talking. I need to step away for a second.
No, that's all right.
Yeah.
Which was really, it did make me feel guilty, very much guilty, that I was like, perpetrating that again, a narrative. And again, I don't think there was anything necessarily deeply harmful about the particular narrative we had or anything like that. But it was definitely surprised me how easily we stumbled upon that narrative, as it were, like we were literally colonizing this moon we were on. Yeah.
It's almost like the game naturally
it
in that direction.
The swerve that way, it was I think I'd be very curious to try the expansion, or like the update to the game, as it were, and see how it kind of navigates that. And I would be really, I think the only way you could avoid that is by changing the fundamentals of the game itself, which I really hand it to the author of this game, whose name I've forgotten, my apologies, for noticing that in their game and going immediately, right, well, that's something I need to step up and look into and do something about. I thought that was really, credit to them for doing that, credit to them for going out of their way and, and making sure that they weren't, that they wanted to address that situation within the game they designed. I thought that was actually really great, and I'm not seeing many designers go back and do that, so that's really wonderful. Yeah.
I thought it was quite illustrative as well, because in some ways it was quite illustrative about how colonialism comes about, which I thought was quite interesting. It's just like almost like good intentions almost led to it. It's like, it was interesting to see, like, how does colonialism happen? And I think that was like a good case study about just how easily you can slip into it.
Yeah.
Or even just the narrative of it.
Yeah.
I mean, I think technically we avoided it. I don't know if you talked about this while I was away, but technically we avoided it in the fact that we created a setting in which there were no natives. There were just a lot of other people who were in the same situation we were. And so it was not colonial in the sense that we are displacing an indigenous people, but it was in the sense that we're displacing people who came there before us.
Yeah.
Although, were we really colonialists? Because we're refugees.
Yeah. No, I mean, you're right.
I mean,
but to be honest, I guarantee you the New World, certainly a lot of the American New World colonialists, colonists, that's the word. Colonists.
There we go.
Thought of themselves as refugees, religious refugees in particular. Yeah. And
maybe that's how you fix the game, is emphasize the refugee-ness of what you're doing rather than...
I suppose. Yeah. But I mean, I guess what I'm saying is that's not necessarily a great, an excuse, if that makes sense. You can be a refugee and you can still be colonial. You can still displace people who were there before you and commit crimes.
Well, maybe it's not I think it's not so much I've lost my words. It's not so much the situation that the characters are in. I think it's the idea of an empty wilderness and we're just dumped in the middle. That's probably the colonial thing. Like if we were refugees dumped in the middle of highly populated area, that wouldn't be colonialist. That would be, we are refugees. But because we're discovering a wilderness,
No, that's a really good point. It's the sort of the idea that we go into a place, we take it over with no consideration for pre-existing society, civilization, and the only way you sort of you're able to do that is when that civilization is maybe not so prominent or not very present. It doesn't mean that they don't exist. They're just not there at the moment that you arrive. Or are inferior to you in some way. And I guess that seems like a real key to me, is the idea that they are vulnerable to you, that you have more power than they do. In some way you have some power over them. And I suppose, do you guys feel like in our game we were in a situation where there was a power imbalance with the other peoples?
Yeah, definitely.
When we had, they, in some ways, the people we created were just trying to mind their own business a lot of the time. But we definitely did have, in that we were, it was less that we had like more power over them, it's more that we impressed our needs onto them a lot of the time. We were desperate to trade with them, to live in their bunkers, to live, to take, to put them under our rule and things like that. We were desperately trying to approach them to see what we could glean from them a lot of the time. We didn't see them as like people for whom we could work together a lot of it. We did try that, but most of the time decisions came out with, trying to work
from the council.
On our own community survival.
Decisions from the council.
From the council.
Who was in charge of that? That guy's a total...
Let me tell you about that guy.
Oh, he's terrible.
Oh my god.
Don't ever see him again.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I'm not totally sure it's entirely the colonialism is that so much of a problem. So much as I think it can be seen, like if you play it a very particular way, it really can. I'm not sure it's actually inherent in the game. It just leaves the possibility open. And I think I really look forward to seeing what Avery Alder has done with the Deep Forest that is different in that way. And we're definitely...
If we played it the original way it was intended to, which is post-apocalyptic, and you're just like, that would have been less colonial, because when you're coming in and everyone's on the same,
how were we not playing it post-apocalyptic?
Well, it was more sci-fi. Like we were like a high-tech, and then the villagers were low-tech, so that sort of created a bit of power imbalance right there.
Were they low-tech? Is that how you saw them?
Well, I think I didn't see them as low-tech, because they did have things like big old bunkers and things like that. And they had, like, I remember aerials coming. I remember specifically drawing the spider villages with aerials and stuff. I couldn't not see the tentacle people as high-tech for some reason. I think it's because they were the ones who crash-landed on there and spread the corruption for the first time. Were they them?
No, they weren't the ones from the ship that spreaded the corruption. But they were, I think I explicitly said that they were from another crash. And in my mind, all of the people were from another crash.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But then they were there before. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's difficult to say.
Yeah,
I think
it's interesting.
Sorry, go on.
No, you go ahead.
I think because it's about who you are when you enter the game, because the cards themselves are sort of colonialist in the sense that, or you find another community, or you do X, Y, and Z, and and even then, like, I was going, I was still going full colonialist, and I didn't consciously do it. I was just like going the council.
You were just trying to be mean, which is, you know,
Well, yeah.
what colonialism
trying to be
is.
evil.
You're just trying to be cruel.
Yeah, no, I wasn't actually trying to be colonialist. I was just trying to
Trying to be cruel. Yeah, no, I get it.
be contrarian.
I call you Corella DeVille now. Yeah, I'm looking forward to playing the Deep Forest with y'all, which we're gonna do eventually. I don't think we're not gonna do it right away, just because I want to have some variety in the plays, in the actual plays on my channel. Which sucks because all the games I want to play are world building games that are either very similar to this or more or less based on it. So, been trawling through all of my friends going, please, what game should I play that isn't a world building game? Somebody. People always want to base it on what you have played already. So they're always handing me more world building games. I'm like, oh.
Do we have any?
Another really well designed, well built game.
One of the games I really like to play. So there's two games that I saw recently played, and one was Companion's Tale. That was played by Indoor Recess in order to world build for their upcoming game that starts on Tuesday night. And I mean, I can see where it was coming from. I'm not sure I'm a huge fan. It's also a physical, there's no digital version of it. It's physical only.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
It's basically, it presents itself as a board game, essentially. Which I'm not sure I like about it. And then the other game I saw was I'm Sorry Did You Say Street Magic? That is the name. I'm Sorry Did You Say Street Magic? And it is very clearly heavily inspired by a combination of The Quiet Year and Microscope.
Okay, that sounds interesting.
But that is somehow what I absolutely love about it. I mean, I could do away with the whole map building thing, but I like the mix of concepts from Microscope and The Quiet Year, and so like the bits from Microscope brings more structure to The Quiet Year that I really enjoy, and a bit more variety as well. And The Quiet Year brings a bit more implied conflict, if that makes sense, to it. Microscope is very loose on the story and the conflict inherent in any story. Like the drama, the dramatics of it. And The Quiet Year is very loose on the structure. And I think those two together are really good.
I wasn't a big fan of Microscope, I have to admit. I found it's actually quite complicated. Some of the rules I couldn't figure out. But then again, it's all about which way do world building, top down or bottom up, or like micro. Start small, because I think like these are good for like big, broad, like high level world building. But I think there's also, I'd be interested to see if there's any kind of system for. Yeah, Ben suggested Aegon. I think that's the Greek one, isn't it?
It sounds Greek. I've not heard of it before.
Ben.
Yeah, Ben.
We demand.
Ben. If there is a games I have in mind, there is one or two games that I'd like to play, one-shot games that I haven't been able to convince any of my friends to play, but I might like to play it with you guys if you were looking for games, and that is specifically a few one-shots by Grant Howitt, if you know.
I've heard of him, yeah.
Who have famously made One of my favourite games that I've ever seen play is Reverse Beastmaster. I would love to have a go at that. But there are other examples like Sad Vampire Boyfriend and Honey Heist and Big Gay Orcs, and what was the other one? There's a really good one, like one which is themed around space marines, essentially.
Yeah.
Where you've turned from being space marines who are only good at killing and destroying things and being big and strong, but they're desperately trying to help these, like, turn to peace and help these villagers. And I just thought, from what I've seen of these one-shot games, there is a lot of room for world building, because they're only one page, so there's a lot of it which is just left up to the DM or even the people to improvise and pull in from the world around them. That's my connection to world building. But really, I just really want to play Sad Gay Orcs. No, Big Gay Orcs. My apologies. Sad Vampire Boyfriend is the one I'm confusing it with. So those are my two recommendations. But
I like Sad Vampire Boyfriend.
That sounds hilarious.
Great.
Yeah,
I actually have a window up here. It is play as a vampire or a mortal in this one-page RPG and get into too much trouble as you freewheel through relationships and betrayals. Inspired by the rules behind belonging outside belonging, Sad Vampire Boyfriend is designed to be played for 2 or 3 linked sessions of play.
Okay.
Or a vampire or a mortal, etc. So yeah, I that's just one idea. Sorry if I went off
clearly
there. Targeting
the Twilight.
I'm absolutely fine with that.
Now that Ben mentions the epic poem part of it, I think I have heard of Aegon. I don't.
That does sound really cool.
It sounds cool. It sounds like something that would drive me nuts. And my particular variety of neurodivergency, I'm not good at presenting things I know. I think it's very much like an ADHD thing that you come off as. It's a frustration with a lot of people with ADHD that, like, there are things that like you can be super smart and have learned a bunch of things. Like, I know a lot of shit because I'm a writer and my brain is constantly going, what's that? Tell me more. But when it comes to, like, having a conversation, off the cuff conversation with somebody about something that is about, like, specific information, I mess that stuff up all the time. It never comes off right. I end up coming off like I don't know what I'm talking about when I should.
Seconded. Yeah.
And so I have a lot of anxiety around playing games where there's a specific canon. So we're talking about anything having to do with Greek mythology, even though I studied it specifically, like took classes on it. I used to, before I moved to the before I moved to the UK, I used to own several books on mythology, Greek and Roman mythology, and I had to get rid of them because I couldn't afford to ship them all here. But I was very big into it at one point, and I would be terrified of trying to play a Greek mythology, even one that was just like fake Greek mythology. I'd be terrified of playing. Same reason I'm terrified of playing like a Star Wars game.
Oh, that's fair. I mean, if we wouldn't want to, like, stress you out in that kind of way at all, but, like, I think we'd all be very forgiving of one another when it came to trying to be off the cuff presenting, because I feel that's maybe a weakness that well, at least you and me share. I'm not sure about Rick. Rick might be a bit better at that kind of thing, but it's definitely something I share with you.
Rick doesn't share it. Rick's
especially when it comes to
massive erudite, and makes me feel ashamed of myself quite a lot because he's so freaking smart.
A little bit true. Well, I certainly don't know anything about.
You're always like, what about this book? Oh, this reminds me of this book. You should read this book. And I remember this one time in this one book where there's a
I've read a lot of fantasy and science fiction, but you've studied Greek literature and
but I can't talk about that stuff in a really concrete fashion.
But then I don't like
talk
playing
about random things I remember from. Oh, sorry.
Yeah. No, go ahead. Finish.
No, go on, my love.
Go on.
I just remember, like, I could talk about random things from when I studied Greek classics, but, like, it's not going to be helpful. It's just going to be things like, I remember what Philocleon's dog was called from the bees, the wasps, that's what it was called. Yeah, see? I can remember things like, I studied pagan theology for quite a long time, and then I'll just be like, did you know there's quite a lot written about semen and lettuce in the nature of, like, Egyptian mythology? The topic comes up all the time, lettuce and semen just together. All the time.
I'm really good at
helpful.
I'm really good at pronouncing Greek names. You know, give me a Greek name and I can generally pronounce it well. So, I mean,
that's half the battle.
Yeah. I can remember one or two of the great Greek comedians at any given time. It's always a different one.
Aristophanes. That's all I get. Aristophanes and a little bit of the Iliad. Yay, there you go. The turtle man, the man who died via turtle, wasn't it? Or
I can remember what the set of Antigone looked like in high school.
Nice. I remember that. Christopher Eccleston was in Antigone at one point.
Yeah.
He was in Antigone. He played
neurodivergency.
Yeah.
But you see, that kind of knowledge is great for if you have that kind of in-depth detail knowledge, because like world building, maybe not world building, but like role playing is about having those off-the-cuff details, so the world feels like it's got depth. So like that kind of knowledge is like ideal for that kind of thing, because it's not just that you can repeat things, but then it gives you the ability to come up with stuff that sounds convincing.
Well, one of the things that I do hang on to about stuff that I learn and read is like the feeling of it, the emotions it brings up, and often the tone of it. And so those are things that I can generally reproduce faithfully. And that's actually where I end up catching myself out a lot, because I will produce something that sounds like can have a conversation where I act like I know what I'm talking about. And then people will try to have that conversation with me. And then I'll be like, oh
no. Go onto Google Doc, type the 5,000 words down, and then I'll be with you in a moment.
Exactly. Yeah. I'd have to sit there and like just talk like in an echo chamber for like a half an hour before I could answer the question, because I'd have to remind myself of all of these thoughts that I've already had, of these things that I already know.
Especially when I'm exhausted, I'll just be, I will just have only half things to say. Like earlier where I was like, did you know Christopher Eccleston was once in a thing?
In a thing, yeah.
In a thing, that's all I kind of your brain is running on fumes.
Right. Well, I think we should wrap up because we're almost going on 3 hours now. This was a marvelous game. I had great fun. I would like to play it again, if only to try and play Winter a little bit.
That'd be nice.
Yeah.
We got lucky with the card draw.
Season taken from under me. Wonderful. Thank you so much for organising this.
Yeah,
yes, this is great fun. Thank you everyone for coming and watching, and all the people who are going to watch this after the fact in the future. I look forward to your comments on videos. I will be putting this on YouTube. I will say by Friday. It's a lot of editing. Well, I may not edit it at all, to be honest, just to get it up on the YouTubes. I'm also thinking I will probably cut off this review portion and post it as a separate video.
That means we just end on, oh!
Yeah, exactly. Now you have to go watch the review. Yes. Excellent, and an excellent time was had by all, or whatever that phrase is. Yeah. Anyway, Just a reminder, everybody want to talk about their socials and who they have been. Who have you been, Rick?
I've been Rick, he, him, and I design stuff, game design, role-playing thoughts. You can catch me on @GrizzlyEye or grizzlyeye.com, and I love these guys.
And Pascal, who were you? What were you?
I'm Poet. Also, apparently Junkrat aficionado. You can follow me at Pascal Vine, Pascal V with like a V Poet on the Twitter, and see my many useless and myriad pointless posts.
Yes.
Also poetry, I suppose, and sometimes moths. Thank you very much. I've had a wonderful time here.
Yes, that's Pascal V Poet. Unfortunately, I again, after the fact, put names on our little videos for this discussion portion, and hilariously, Pascal's shirt matches the color of the text. So
hang on, let me put my hilarious
there you go.
in here. Does
That's
that
better.
work?
Although it doesn't, there's not a lot of contrast between skin and that color either, so.
Oh my god, that's blindingly pale skin.
Yeah, Rick's doesn't help either. It's just the middle bit on the black shirt and all the fun
decided
things.
all to wear red today.
Yes, I love how thematic we are. I think it's brilliant. I think it works. We're just an excellent group of people. And on that note, I have been Morgan, aka Tempest, and this is my channel, so you already know what I do and how to get a hold of me. I'm also on the Twitter by the same name. Take care of yourselves, have an excellent day, and play the quiet year sometime. Bye!